Hello, welcome to today's podcast. If you're watching this, you will see I'm in a different space, perfectly fitting for today's episode on embracing your queen energy and using universal laws in order to do so. We talk a lot on this podcast about upgrading yourself, stepping into 2025 or whatever year you're listening this in, and becoming the person that you're meant to be. But I want to pivot a little bit and twist it into something a little bit different and use the language of universal laws, of which there are over 60, in order to communicate to you what I am talking about. I am wearing a bikini right now and some shorts because we're staying in this beautiful home with my family. My mum is visiting me from the UK, so I am doing a combo. I am both working on this podcast and I am using this pool with my family, and it is a vibe. But I also want to bring you this important information today because I think in order to understand becoming the woman that you're meant to be, you need to understand that there are universal laws that don't just apply to, TikTok trends, or I don't even know if we have TikTok anymore when I'm recording this, but it's not just about TikTok trends. It's also about how you present yourself in the world. So I'm going to tell you a law, for example, number one, the law of vibration, and I'm going to tell you how that relates to what we talk about here, okay? So the law of vibration is that your energy determines what you attract, okay? So if you energetically embody the role of a queen, somebody that people want to do things for, somebody who presents themselves as somebody who makes people want to value them highly in the world, then that is what your vibration will attract to you. You need to understand that if your inner beliefs dictate that you are not worthy of love, that you are not worthy of people's time, that you are not worthy of people going out of their way for, then that is what you are going to attract to you. You need to sit down and really hone in using the law of vibration of what your internal vibration is and what that's going to mean for you in the world. You need to journal about what does my higher self act like, look like, and believe. Believe being the most important one. You can use my journal. You can get it in the description boxes. It's called Her Journal, and it takes you through 90 days of becoming her or the queen that you want to be. If that is not for you, get any journal. There is no excuses. What does your higher self look like, act like, behave like? What does she value? What habits does she have? Because until you know who you are, you cannot attract things accordingly. Number two, law of correspondence. And this is a law about boundaries when it comes to what we talk about. Your outer world mirrors your inner world. If your outer world is chaotic, you need to understand that it is mirroring a chaos in your inner world. You need to understand that to identify one situation, for example, like you've been overextending yourself, you're always the one who's doing everything. You need to know that that is coming from your own inner world and your inner beliefs. Your outer world mirrors your inner world. You need to identify situations where you've been overextending yourself or you've been energetically drained, and you need to write down mission statements. For example, I will no longer overextend myself for people who don't value me, or write a boundary statement like I will no longer accept behaviors that waste my time. You need to be very, very strong about your boundaries and very in tune with the fact that however you allow people to treat you inside is how it's going to manifest outside. Energy is a very interesting thing, and it manifests in your world in ways that you don't expect. For example, sometimes if you do not keep your promises and your inner world is you don't know how to make decisions and things like that, it will manifest in the outside world, and it will come back to you in ways like, say you are always late. You're always late to people. You're never on time. And then you, I don't know, get something stolen from your house, right? You will say, how did that happen? I've never stolen anything. That's so strange. Karma, gets you back and all this stuff. But in reality, you've stolen people's time by being late. So karmically, you might get something physical stolen, or maybe a guy will lead you on. So a guy will lead you on for 2 years, and in that, you will have your time stolen. You understand what I mean? So energetically, your outer world is very much dictated by your inner world. If there's chaos on the outside, understand there's chaos on the inside. Your outside experience is very much determined by your inside reality. Number three, the law of association. The people around you and their vibration really, really affects how you feel about yourself and everything that happens around you. So the law of association means that the people who you most associate with, even though you feel like you gossip about them and they might not be like you, and oh my God, Jessica's so annoying. No, you are Jessica. You are the sum of the three people you hang out with most. You need to go through the people that you are around most. That includes people you follow online, and curate your own reality about who you are around most. You need to understand that by allowing those people into your life, you are also becoming that person. You are becoming the people that you are around. And if people around you have hectic energy, if people around you lie and deceive you, if even that guy is like texting you one day, then not texting you another day, you need to understand that it's all a part of who you also are or who you will become. If they're not quality people, you're not a quality person. You need to commit to spending more of your time around people who elevate your energy, people who make you feel incredible, people who you want to be like, as uncomfortable as that might seem. You need to curate your life and people around you. The energy and the frequency of those people impacts who you are and who you are becoming. Number 4, the law of polarity. This is probably my favorite law that there is, but you need to understand that sometimes things that present as challenges are actually opportunities. So that is the law of polarity, that sometimes things are disguised as obstacles or challenges, and they bring in something that is incredible into your life. You need to ask yourself, if something seems wrong or bad or a bit sticky or tricky and it keeps appearing in your life again and again and again, what is this thing teaching me? What is it designed to come into my life to teach me? Every challenge in it has a polar opposite effect in terms of creating the person that you're meant to be. Cultivate emotional resilience is how we relate it to what we're talking about. When something happens and you feel it's wrong, do not crumble, do not fall apart. You are a queen that you're meant to embody. That's the energy we're trying to embody. And if you crumble at every negative perceived feeling, you will not go through with that lesson. You need to see, what is this teaching me? What is this in the long scheme of things? What is this in my story, in my life? How can I become the person I'm meant to be? Often things like, I don't know, not having your father around, or having, growing up as an immigrant, anything. I mean, some people have really, really incredible hardships that are even hard to speak about or understand, but it makes people who they are. How can I use my experience to strengthen who I am and further guide people? How do you think I created this podcast, this channel, and all the things I do? It's obviously from not feeling like enough, not feeling like I know how to embody somebody that I want to be, not feeling that I know what to do. Practice reframing. Reframing is key, is absolute key. And I teach you that on my 8-week course. I think this video is going to go live at the end of January, this podcast. I am launching my 8-week Become Her intensive with me live for the last time. This will be the last time I do it. If you missed it, I'm sorry. But if you're watching this video as it's gone live, then please join me. I think it's really helpful and useful. But enough of that. Practice reframing a difficult situation into a positive one, because the universe will reward you for that. Cultivate emotional resilience. Practice the law of polarity. Number 5, law of attraction. We all know that one. You attract what you embody. This relates to us in already embodying and dressing like the woman that you want to be. You want to be that queen energy. You want to be that princess. You want to be treated a certain way. You've got to already come looking like that. You've got to already come looking correct. Identify 3 key outfits, 3 key ways that you want to present yourself. Title it the Queen Lookbook, whatever you want it to be. Name yourself Pamela, Paloma, Penelope, whatever it is. I don't know, peas make me feel a bit fabulous, so that is the one for me. Priscilla. Practice always having one of those accessories, walking the walk, talking the talk. The law of attraction dictates how you already present yourself. You will attract more of that. So why not already embody that? If you go around looking like a mop, as my mum says, you will attract more mop energy. Commit to intentionally always appearing in the way that you already want to be. I know it's hard. For example, 2025, I want to embody my physical health more, like actually weight train. And despite not having that strength right now, I'm going to start embodying that and doing that. If you want to become sophisticated, but you don't have the money to do that yet, embody that anyway. Wear the most sophisticated outfit that you can. Number 6, the law of cause and effect. Your actions create your results, and the actions of others should create the results in your life too. This is twofold, okay? Set and communicate high standards. So number 1, you set and communicate high standards for yourself. You got that gym membership, you should go show up at the gym. You decided you're gonna, meet your goals work-wise, you should commit to that. Commitment creates confidence, okay? So the actions creating your results means that you, by using the law of cause and effect, you understand that the more you lean into who you're meant to be, the more results you're gonna get. The second part of it is teaching the people around you, the guy who didn't reply to you, the guy who didn't text you back, that everything has a cause and effect. If somebody treats you badly, but you don't react in any type of way by removing your energy from them, then they're going to keep doing that. You should not be giving your energy to anybody who treats you subpar. You should be only giving your energy to people who treat you well. That is the law of cause and effect. If you do not know how to implement that, you need to have some mantras. I will not tolerate disrespectful behavior. I will remove my energy from them. Even in a marriage, and this comes up a lot, how can I do that? I'm married to the person. How can I remove my energy? Very easily. You do not pivot your life around that person. You do not placate to them, always asking how they are. You do not lean into them. when they come home, you're not always pivoting yourself like the planets around the sun around them. You start to very much pour that energy back into yourself. When you would have asked them if they want to drink, you ask yourself if you want to drink. You know what I mean? Number 7 is the law of perpetual transmutation. That means energy transmutes into other things. It doesn't disappear. Energy, for example, you eat a calorie, it becomes a calorie, it becomes something in your body, right? It becomes fuel for you or fat or whatever, right? So the law of transmutation means that whatever energy you have, you need to focus, because to create your life that you want, to become the queen that you want to be, to embody the woman that you want to be, you need to focus on those areas. You can't just randomly visualize it and fantasize about it. You need to actually focus that down. Write down the ideal life that you want to be living. Really write it down. I know people use ChatGPT to do prompts on it. I'm not really sure how they do that, but relationships, career, health, fitness, you need to laser focus your energy, because the law of transmutation is real, that once you focus enough energy, once you focus enough thought, once you focus enough writing about it, once you focus vision boards, that's how they work. That energy is going to flow somewhere. It cannot just disappear, because energy goes into something. You know what I mean? So in order to become the person you want to be, you need to create vision boards, you need to write about it, you need to break it into actionable steps in order to get there. Number 8, the law of divine oneness. In order to really embody a person that is worth reverence and worth your own respect, you need to practice the law of oneness. And that means all energy is one, and we are all a part of oneself. Everyone is one thing, right? So you need to start treating everybody around you with respect and in the ways that you yourself want to be treated. Your choices impact everyone in a larger goal. And if you really want to, as girls say, I want to build my empire, I want to do this, boss babe, whatever. If you really want to be a leader in your life, you need to start caring about others. And there's a big rhetoric about, oh yes, focus on yourself, do it for you, it's all about you, girl. But the reality is, if you really want to level up, it's got to be about a bigger thing, about your children, about your community, about your family, about something. It's got to be about something bigger than you. When faced with decision making, does this align with my higher vision for the people, for everybody that I want to do this for? Does this align with the higher goal of who I want to be? Write down the pros and cons of every decision in terms of a big communal thing, as opposed to just you in the moment. And this is not to be mistaken for running yourself into the ground ragged like a crazy animal because you got to do everything for everybody else. Because at the end of the day, even in terms of you putting yourself first in order to look good, act right, and your health, in the end it benefits your family too. So you've got to really balance it well. You can't just be doing things for everybody like a rabid raccoon. You've got to do it with intention. Number 9, law of gratitude. Gratitude amplifies abundance. I've told you that 100 times. That's why my journal has a gratitude part at the bottom. Practice gratitude and abundance. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. I do it in the evening. People recommend to do it in the morning. I like to do it in the evening. Reflect on the ways that those positive things made you feel. The more you reflect on positive things in your life, and the more you actually feel that gratitude in your solar plexus, the more it will be delivered to you. Number 10, the law of compensation. The universe rewards your efforts and acknowledges them. It acknowledges them. I know it's hard to believe, because sometimes you feel like you do a lot and it's not rewarded. But if you celebrate your wins and you acknowledge them and you're grateful for them, you will get more of that in your life. Create a notebook where you write down all the ways in which you did well and you really celebrate. And we're often scared to do that because we've got a big culture of, the evil eye, and we don't want to scare away luck or whatever. And I'm not telling you to go and boast about it on Instagram, but it should be in reference to you. I sat down with somebody that's very close to me, and we talked about 2024, and all they mentioned was, people weren't fair to them or something. And, along those lines, I'm not going to go into it because it's not my story to tell. But when I was talking to that person, I just thought how funny it is that all I remember of 2024 is that I published a book, that I raised my daughter, that all these things. And that is because I have a practice of celebrating my wins. And I don't mean financially and just like putting it on Instagram, but to myself, because the law of the universe states that the law of compensation, if you put in good deeds, they will come back to you. And I know that's debatable, but it is true. Create a way of rewarding yourself. Each week, write down a win that you had, small or big.
All right, let's dive into some feminine power today. We're talking 10 universal laws from Margarita Nazarenko's YouTube video, that is.
Yeah, her video's got a real fun vibe,
Oh, yeah. In fact, doesn't she start out by the pool in a bikini?
She does. But, these laws, they go deeper than just, looks or trends or whatever.
It's not just about posing, right? It's about the energy you're putting out there, how you show up in the world.
Exactly. It's some pretty ancient wisdom, actually, when you think about it.
Okay, so law number 1, the law of vibration. Margarita talks about how your energy attracts like energy. Like attracts like. Sounds simple enough, but what's that really mean, though?
It's like, okay, imagine you're always giving off a certain vibe.
A vibe.
Yeah, based on what you're thinking, how you're feeling, even your beliefs. And that vibe, it's like a magnet. It pulls in things that match it.
So if I'm feeling good, confident, I'm going to attract good stuff.
Exactly. Opportunities, good people, all that. But the flip side's true too. If you're down on yourself, doubtful.
You're going to attract more of that same negativity.
Right. So it's not just thinking positive thoughts. It's deeper. It's about your self-worth, really feeling good about yourself.
And aligning yourself with what you really want.
Exactly. Margarita even suggests, journaling about what your higher self believes, those qualities you admire in others.
Like figuring out the energy you want to embody.
Yeah. It's powerful stuff when you start getting clear on that.
Okay, makes total sense. On to law number 2, the law of correspondence. This one's about your inner world reflecting in your outer world.
Like a mirror, almost.
Right. Margarita has these great examples, like if you're always saying yes to everyone, feeling drained.
It's going to show up somehow, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're always overbooked, stressed out.
Or even she tells this story about being chronically late and then having something stolen, and she ties it back to her stealing people's time.
Right. It's funny, but it makes you think. Our actions, they often mirror what's going on inside.
So if I'm always disrespecting other people's time, I might find my own time's a mess.
Could be. It's not about blame or anything, but noticing the pattern.
Like asking yourself, what's out of balance inside that's causing this outside stuff?
Exactly. That's where the real work starts. Maybe it's boundaries you need to set, being kinder to yourself, working on your limiting beliefs, all of that.
So then your outer experience can start to change too.
Exactly. It's a process.
Speaking of who we surround ourselves with, law number 3, the law of association. This one's all about your squad.
Oh, yeah. Who you hang with matters. Big time.
Margarita says it perfectly. Oh my God, Jessica's so annoying. But no, you are Jessica. It's hilarious, but so true.
It's like we literally absorb the energy of those around us.
Good or bad. So if you're always around negative people, gossipy people, it's going to be hard to stay positive yourself, right?
Totally. And this goes for online too, by the way.
Oh, good point. The accounts you follow, the content you consume.
Are they inspiring you or bringing you down?
Got to curate that online world just like your real life friends.
For sure. Choose your energy buffet wisely.
Love it. All right, law number 4. The law of polarity. And this one's a little deeper. Margarita's point is that challenges, they're actually opportunities in disguise.
It's all about perspective, right?
Oh.
Instead of seeing a problem as a setback,
see it as a chance to learn, to grow.
to transform even. Margarita talks about how her own struggles, like feeling lost and not good enough, led her to create her channel and help others.
She literally turned her pain into her purpose. Pretty amazing.
It shows how resilience comes from facing those tough times, not avoiding them.
So next time we're going through something hard, we can ask, what's this here to teach me?
Right. How can I use this to become stronger, wiser?
It takes practice though, right? To reframe things like that.
It does. It does. Our brains, they kind of like to focus on the negative, but the more we practice, the easier it gets.
Now, this next law might be the most famous one, but Margarita puts a fun spin on it. Law number 5, the law of attraction.
Yes. This one gets a lot of attention.
She's all about dressing the part. If you want to be that queen energy, she says, you gotta come looking correct.
It's about more than clothes, though. It's about embodying the qualities you want, even if you don't totally feel them yet.
So if I want to be more confident, I should dress in a way that makes me feel powerful.
Exactly. Or, if you want to attract more abundance, surround yourself with beauty, even in small ways.
It's about aligning your outer world with what you want on the inside. I love her idea of creating a queen lookbook, like putting together 3 outfits that make you feel your best.
It's a visual reminder of that energy you want to embody.
And you can do that with other things too, right? Not just clothes, like vision boards or even
designing your dream home on Pinterest.
Exactly. Even if you're years away from buying a place. It's about engaging your imagination and feeling those emotions as if it's already real.
It's powerful stuff. You're basically creating a magnetic field for what you want.
Okay, on to law number 6, the law of cause and effect. This one's about taking responsibility for your actions, knowing that choices have consequences.
Margarita says commitment creates confidence. What do you think she means by that?
Well, it's not enough to just wish for things to be different. You got to actually do something. Take action.
And commit to the process.
That's right.
Even when it gets tough.
And that's where the confidence comes in. When you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can do it.
It's a cycle. Action builds confidence. Confidence helps you take more action. It keeps building.
Margarita also talks about setting high standards for how you're treated by others, not letting people walk all over you.
Boundaries. It's about knowing you deserve respect and then actually enforcing those boundaries.
It's not about being mean, right? It's about protecting your energy.
Exactly. You shouldn't be wasting your energy on people who don't value you. She's really clear about that.
It's about having those healthy, balanced relationships where everyone wins.
In all areas of life, romantic, friendships, work, family, it applies everywhere.
All right, deep divers, ready for law number 7. It's called the law of perpetual transmutation.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
It is, but it's also super interesting. It's basically about energy. It never really disappears, it just changes form.
Like what?
Margarita uses this analogy of calories from food, either becoming fuel for your body or getting stored as fat. That energy, it has to go somewhere.
Oh, I get it. It's like with our thoughts and emotions, we're channeling energy all the time, and it's got to go somewhere.
So if you're constantly dwelling on negative stuff, you're feeding that energy.
But if you focus on the positive, on love, on gratitude,
You cultivate those energies instead.
exactly. Which is why things like mindfulness, meditation, even energy healing are so powerful. They help us become aware of our energy.
And then you can learn to direct it intentionally.
Like if you want to attract more love or abundance, start by cultivating those feelings within yourself. Practice gratitude. Do things that lift you up.
Small actions can have a big impact, right?
Absolutely. Even a kind word to a stranger can shift your energy and create ripples out into the world.
Okay, law number 8. The law of divine oneness. This one's all about recognizing that we're all connected, part of something much, much bigger than ourselves.
Like, we're all in this together.
Margarita talks about how real leadership requires us to move beyond just thinking about ourselves.
It's about contributing to something larger than just me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. She's not saying to neglect your own needs, though, right? It's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself and care about the world around you.
It reminds me of that saying, what goes around comes around. If we put good energy out there.
It comes back to you in some way.
Okay, almost there. Law number 9, the law of gratitude. Classic one for a reason.
Yeah.
But Margarita reminds us that it's not just about listing things you're grateful for.
She says it's about feeling it, like really savoring that gratitude in your body.
It's about taking the time to appreciate those good things, big or small.
The law of gratitude suggests that the more you focus on what you have, the more abundance you attract.
It's like shifting your mindset from lack to abundance.
And it's a practice. Like anything, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Okay, last one. Law number 10, the law of compensation. This one's about the universe rewarding your effort. But there's a catch.
A catch? What do you mean?
Margarita says you gotta actually acknowledge your wins. Celebrate your accomplishments.
That's interesting. So many of us are taught not to brag or like downplay our successes.
She even suggests keeping a wins notebook where you write down all your accomplishments, big and small.
That's a great idea. It helps you recognize how far you've come.
The law of compensation suggests that the more you celebrate those wins, the more abundance and success you'll attract. It's like a positive feedback loop.
It's about knowing your worth and owning those achievements.
All right, so there you have it, Margarita Nazarenko's 10 universal laws for unlocking feminine power.
We covered a lot. Energy, boundaries, challenges, self-worth, all of it.
But this is just the beginning of our deep dive. We've laid the foundation, and now it's time to explore how we can actually put these laws into practice.
Exactly. How do we take these amazing concepts and make them work in our everyday lives?
That's what we'll be talking about next time. Stay tuned, deep divers. All right, let's get practical. We talked about those 10 universal laws, but how do we actually use them in our lives?
That's the fun part. It's not just theory, right? They're meant to be applied. Like that first one, the law of vibration. Being aware of your energy, shifting it to attract what you want.
Yeah, but how do you actually do that? Sometimes I wake up and I'm just not vibing high, you know?
Oh, totally. We all have those days.
Yeah.
But you're not stuck with whatever mood you wake up in.
Yeah.
That's where mindfulness comes in.
Mindfulness.
Yeah, like when you notice those negative thoughts creeping in, just observe them. Don't judge yourself.
So I shouldn't get mad at myself for having a bad day.
Nope, just acknowledge it. And then try shifting your focus. Put on some music you love, go for a walk, call a friend who makes you laugh. Little things can make a big difference.
And Margarita talked about journaling from your higher self. You know, focusing on the qualities you want to embody.
It's like setting an intention for your energy.
Okay, I can see how that would help. What about the law of correspondence? How do you start noticing those patterns in your life, the ones that might be showing you what's off balance inside?
Just start paying attention. Is there a lot of drama in your life?
Yeah.
Maybe you need better boundaries. Are your finances a mess? Maybe it's time to look at your beliefs about money.
It's almost like your life's giving you clues.
Exactly. It's not about blame. It's about learning from those clues. Like, let's say you keep attracting partners who are emotionally unavailable.
Oh, I know people like that.
Maybe it's reflecting your own fear of intimacy, something to think about.
Deep stuff. So it's about digging a little deeper, asking, what's the real lesson here?
The law of correspondence, it's like a mirror, showing you what needs work.
Okay, law number 3, the law of association. Choosing your influences wisely.
Yeah, this one's about being intentional with who you spend your time with, online and offline.
Think about those people you're always around. Are they lifting you up or dragging you down?
Are they supporting your dreams or making you feel small? It's a good question to ask yourself.
And it's not about being judgmental, right? It's about setting healthy boundaries. Maybe you see those people less often, or...
You make a point of spending more time with people who inspire you, who share your values.
And that leads right into law number 4, the law of polarity, seeing challenges as opportunities.
Instead of resisting the tough stuff, we can embrace it. Ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this?
Easier said than done sometimes, though. Any tips for reframing when you're right in the middle of a difficult situation?
Focus on what you can control. You can't always change what's happening, but you can choose how you respond to it.
So it's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about finding that silver lining.
And don't be afraid to reach out for support. Talk to a friend, a therapist, journal about it. Whatever helps you process and find meaning in what's happening.
Okay, on to law number 5, the law of attraction. This one's popular, but sometimes it feels kind of like wishful thinking.
It's more than that. Margarita talks about aligning your energy with what you want to attract.
It's about taking action, right? Not just sitting around wishing for things to happen.
Right, and it's about becoming the kind of person who attracts what you want.
She talked about dressing the part, making that queen lookbook to embody the energy you want to attract. What about, like, attracting love or success?
Same idea. Focus on embodying the qualities you'd want in a partner. Or the qualities of a successful person.
So not pretending, but actually becoming that best version of yourself.
And visualization helps. Picture what you want. Feel those emotions as if it's already happening.
Powerful stuff. All right, law number 6, the law of cause and effect. Our actions have consequences. Seems pretty simple.
It is on the surface. But remember what Margarita said. Commitment creates confidence.
Yeah, what does she mean by that?
I think it means you're not just a victim of circumstance. You can create your own reality through the choices you make.
If you want to reach your goals, you got to put in the work. Show up consistently, even when you don't feel like it.
And that's where the confidence comes from. You prove to yourself that you can do it.
And that confidence probably helps you in other areas of life too, right?
Absolutely. It all builds on itself. Success leads to more confidence, which leads to more success.
Don't forget the part about setting high standards for how you're treated. Not letting people walk all over you.
Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Knowing what you deserve and not settling for less.
It's not about being mean, though. It's about communicating your needs clearly.
And sticking to your guns when those boundaries are crossed. It can be tough at first, especially if you're used to people-pleasing.
But it's so important for having healthy relationships. Okay, law number 7, the law of perpetual transmutation. This one was about energy, right?
Energy is never lost. It just transforms. Remember that calorie analogy? Food either fuels you or gets stored as fat. Same with our thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, we're always channeling energy. And we have a choice, right? Use it to create good things, or
let it fester and create negativity.
It's about becoming more aware of that energy and then directing it intentionally.
There's so many tools to help with that. Mindfulness, meditation, energy healing, creative visualization.
It's like we're alchemists.
Exactly. Transforming that energy into something powerful and beautiful. And the more you practice, the better you get at it.
Okay, law number 8, the law of divine oneness. We're all connected, part of something bigger.
It's like that butterfly effect thing, right? Our actions have ripple effects, even if we don't see them right away.
So it's not just about focusing on your goals. It's about the bigger picture, contributing to something larger than yourself.
Margarita talks about true leadership, not being selfish.
Yeah, it's not saying to neglect your own dreams, though.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot where your personal goals and a bigger purpose align.
It's like when we help others thrive, we all benefit.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture. Even small acts of kindness can make a difference.
All right, 2 more. Law number 9, the law of gratitude. This one's so important.
Simple but powerful. Margarita says it's about really feeling that gratitude, not just listing things you're grateful for.
Soak it in. Savor those good feelings.
The more you focus on what you have, the more abundance you attract. That's what this law is all about.
It's like retraining your brain to focus on the positive.
It takes practice, but it's worth it. Try a gratitude journal. Tell your loved ones how much you appreciate them. Or just take a minute each day to reflect on the good stuff.
And finally, law number 10, the law of compensation, celebrating your wins.
This was interesting. We're often told not to brag, to be humble.
Margarita says it's important to acknowledge those wins, even if it's just for yourself. Remember that wins notebook idea.
It's a great way to track your progress, see how far you've come.
This law says the more you celebrate those wins, the more you'll attract.
It's about recognizing your worth and owning your accomplishments, not downplaying them.
All right, so we've gone through all 10 laws and even talked about some ways to apply them.
It's a lot to take in, but hopefully it's inspiring too.
This isn't about being perfect, right? It's about progress.
Start small, be consistent, and trust the process.
And have fun with it. These laws are meant to empower you, not overwhelm you.
We'll be back to wrap things up and share some final thoughts.
You know, we've talked a lot about the practical stuff, how to use these laws, but I feel like there's this bigger picture, this philosophical side we haven't really touched on yet.
I think you're right. As we wrap up, it's worth taking a step back. We've talked about the how, but what about the why? What do these laws tell us about our place in the universe?
I like that. Where are you going with this?
Well, take that law of divine oneness. It's not just some nice idea. If we're truly all connected energetically, our actions have a much bigger impact than we might realize.
It's like feminine power isn't just about what we attract for ourselves, but how we affect everything around us.
Exactly. It's a responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, if we're all part of this web, embodying these laws is about more than just manifesting our dream life.
It's about contributing to something bigger, a collective shift almost.
Right. It's not enough to just attract abundance. The question is, what are you going to do with it?
Are you going to hoard it or share it?
It makes you think about the law of gratitude in a whole new way. It's not just about appreciating what you have. It's about giving back, too.
Yeah. It could be through philanthropy or mentoring someone or even just being kind to the people you encounter every day.
It creates those ripples. The more we live by these laws, the more we contribute to a positive change in, like, the energy of the world.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. So we're not just pawns in some cosmic game. We actually have a say in how things unfold.
Exactly. We have more power than we realize. It's not about controlling things, but aligning with these universal principles, using our energy wisely.
So if we look at all 10 of these laws together, what's the takeaway? What do you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think it's this. You have the power to create a life you love and a world that reflects your best self. It's not always easy, but it's possible.
And feminine power, it's not just some abstract concept. It's a force for good, a force for creation. We can all tap into it.
It's a journey for sure. There will be ups and downs, moments where you doubt yourself.
But if you keep practicing these laws, keep showing up.
You can create a life that feels aligned, empowered, truly fulfilling.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with this. Imagine yourself fully embodying all 10 of these laws. What does your life look like? How do you feel?
Spend some time this week really visualizing that version of yourself. And then, even if it's a tiny step, take some action in that direction.
Because even the smallest step can create amazing change. We're all in this together, deep divers. Remember, you have the power to create a life you love, a world that reflects your values. Love you lots, like jelly tots.